Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley, and today we've got high school predictions again. Now, before we start, I want to ask you guys, please subscribe. We're sitting at, I want to say, around 360. We're on the road to 500. We've got over 1,000, maybe even 1,500 on TikTok, so we're on the road to 2K over there. So I need some love here on YouTube, so please consider subscribing. It is free if you are not subscribed right now. So let's go ahead. Let's get to last week's scores and predictions. 8-man scoreboard on your screen. We'll start in the top left. Archie ends up winning this game against Bishop LeBlond 38-14. A great win for the Whirlwinds. North Shelby, they get it done against Paris. I really did not expect it. They win 52-14. Not a close game at all. Albany, they win 38-20 against North Andrew. Bramer, I took them to win by 36. They only score 36, but nonetheless, they get it done against a pretty solid Northwest team. Appleton City, they win 54-50 against New Heights. And South Holt versus Rockport. I had South Holt winning this game, and they lose 68-20. It was an ugly game. I took South Holt by 8. They lose by 48. So, not my greatest prediction this week. Class 1 now. Adrian, they get it done 32-0 over Butler. This definitely rules out any chance of me going to the Windsor and Butler game. Definitely not on the radar anymore. Windsor, speaking of them, they win 38-6 over Lincoln. Salisbury, they win in my Class 1 game of the week over Scotland County. I took Scotland County to win this game by 11. They lose 32-0. Tipton, they played it closer than I expected against Harrisburg. They win 38-32. Father Tolton on the road wins 63-35. Great win for the Trailblazers. And South Callaway versus Russellville. It's a pretty local game. I took Russellville to win this game. They did not get it done. South Callaway wins this one 45-20. Class 2. Knob Noster, they win 48-6 over Carrollton in this game. Really good win for Knob Noster there. Valley Catholic, they win 37-7 against Caruthersville. Fairgrove, they win 61-21 over Clever. Lamar, they lose. They lost to Mount Vernon. Now, this was one that I said was an upset watch kind of game. And Lamar, I don't know. They're a little interesting this year. Not fully certain if they're as good as they normally are. Thayer, they get it done against Houston. I took Houston in that game, so I'll take the L on that one. In Lafayette County, I took them to win this game. I want to say it was 7 points. I took Lafayette County by 5, actually, over Richmond. They went 70-28. Wow. Richmond's a good team, but Lafayette County, I feel like they're kind of on a different level this year. They're going to make a deep run. I think they make it out of districts in Class 1. I guess we'll see what happens there. It's a good team. I don't necessarily think that they're going to win state, though. Lots of teams that I have over them in Class 2 so far. Opinion may change here in 4 weeks, though. Class 3. Stratford beats Reed Spring. I really didn't expect that one. I took Reed Spring by 27 for some reason. Looking back on it, definitely a bad decision. They don't even score 27. They score 26. Blair Oaks, they win 62-0. Pretty crazy. I did not expect that. Good friend Zach Brown, he says, you know what you're doing there. You know what you're doing. That's BS that you said 18. I really thought that Boonville was a better team this year. If I were to go with my 100% prediction on that one, I probably would have said Blair Oaks by 30. I was going just a little bit more moderate with the 18. I'm telling you, I really did not expect them to win 62-0 in this game. MICDS, they win 29-0. This one was kind of expected. Dexter, they get the win over Southern Boone. They're showing that they're a true threat in Class 3 this year, which is kind of interesting in my mind. They're sitting at 3 in the media polls right now, and Southern Boone drops down to 9. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. Blair Oaks versus Southern Boone in Week 9. I don't know what happens to Southern Boone in the rankings. I'm sure they'll continue to rise up a little bit. It'll probably be either 1 or 2 for Blair Oaks going into that game, Week 9, depending on how this week goes. And then Southern Boone will be either, I'd say maybe 6 to unranked range. So, it's an interesting dynamic in that one. Dexter, though, 5-0, I really didn't expect that, so I don't really know what they have on the rest of the schedule, but maybe a team that I want to go watch this year. Lutheran South hosted Lutheran North 80-0 for the Crusaders. Lutheran North wins 80-0. I don't even have anything to say. Obviously I'm a little speechless there. I took Lutheran North by 44. I knew it was not going to be a close game. I didn't think it was going to be 80-0. I can say that much. Central Park Hills, they win 40-34 against St. Genevieve. This is always an interesting game. I want to say regular season, St. Gen ended up winning last year, and in the playoffs, the Rebels got their get back in one of the playoffs, obviously en route to a state championship in Class 3. So the Central gets it done this time. I took them by 21. They win by 6, so not as close there. Class 4 now. Orchard Farm, they win by a lot less than I thought they would. They beat St. Charles 24-21. Hannibal, they win 8 more than I expected. 40-0 over Mexico. I say it every single week I have Mexico on these scoreboards. Wish it was 100 for Hannibal. Festus versus Hillsboro. I don't know if Trey Lacey got the pick, but I got the exact point total there. I said Festus by 7. They win by 7. So, like I said, not fully certain if Trey got that game-winning interception or not. Kearney, they don't get the shutout. So I talked to Theo about it. It was actually the JV that led up a touchdown to North Kansas City. So Varsity got the shutout. So, I mean, if you want to count it, technically they got that shutout that they were looking for. But in the record book, JV lets up a touchdown, 43-6. Not quite a shutout for Kearney. They're looking good this year. They're ranked number 2 in Class 4 so far in the media polls. Nevada, they get it done against East Newton by 21. Kind of expected that one. And Warrensburg, they lose to Pleasant Hill. I really didn't expect that. I like what Pleasant Hill has this year. Now, they are 3-2. I don't think that they're going to make any sort of deep playoff run but for district-wise, they could win the district. I guess we'll see what happens in there. Not fully certain who they've got to go against, but they end up beating Warrensburg, and it was on the road too. So I really expected Warrensburg to get this one at home. I'm excited for the rest of Warrensburg's season, though. I think they're a pretty solid team. Class 5, Cap City. Wow, they blow JC out of the water, 49-7. This is another one that Zach didn't like of my predictions. I took him by 8. I went a little modest on it. Probably should have said a little bit more, but nonetheless, 41 points right there? No, 42-point win. My math is bad right now. 42-point win for Cap City, big one. For Zewalt North, they win 35-14 against Liberty. Kind of expected, if we're going to be honest. I took, let me find it. I took North by 16, so somewhat close to what I took. I think they won by a little bit more. Rockbridge, they get it done against Elias. I took Elias by 6. If you guys watched the interview, obviously I said I wanted Rockbridge to win that game. Still took Elias, but quietly, very, very quietly rooting for Rockbridge in that game. I was excited when they got that game winner. I hope you guys watch those highlights on my channel. They're up still. Go watch them right now if you haven't. Hazelwood East versus Parkway North, another one that I went to. Hazelwood East, I took them to win by 5. They win 7-0. So very low scoring game. It was fun though. It was really fun. Cape Central, they win 47-0 over St. Dominic. Kind of a surprise if we're going to be honest. And Liberty, 62 points against Central St. Joseph on the road as well. 62-34 is the final. Class 6, as we wrap up the scores from last week, DeSmet, they win 62-14. Just about what I expected. CBC, I took them by 38. They win 41-0. Republic, they get it done against Joplin, 49-38. Very high-scoring game. I took Eureka by 9 against Kirkwood. That was our Class 6 game of the week, I believe. They win by 4. Rockhurst, they beat Bishop. I'm not even going to say that last one. They beat the Stags, 20-3. And then Blue Springs, they look pretty bad this week. They lose to Lutheran North 44-12. I guess we'll see if they bounce back this week. 8-man scoreboard for this week. Let's go ahead and get to this week's predictions. Let's start with Archie and Drexel. Don't think this game's going to be close. Give me the Whirlwinds by 32. Slater, they are hosting Hardin Central. Also, don't think this one's going to be close. I will take Hardin Central by 22. New Heights versus Plattsburgh. I'll take a road team on this one. Give me Plattsburgh by 18. Northwest versus North Shelby. I like how North Shelby's looking this year. They're currently 4-1. They're going to Northwest, so pretty tough team for the Mustangs this year. I think they're a good team, but I will take North Shelby in this game. I'll say 15. Rockport versus West Nodaway. I think Rockport wins this game. Rockport, they won 68-20, as I went over earlier. That's crazy. South Holt's a really good team. We're about to talk about them, so obviously I still hold them at a high value. So I like Rockport by 24 in this game. I know the Rockets are undefeated, but I just like what Rockport has to offer this year. South Holt versus Platte Valley has to be the Class 8-man game of the week. I think that the Knights have something special. Now, obviously, like we said, got blown out by Rockport. I think they're at home as well in that one. So it should be a fun one at South Holt. I guess we'll see what happens there. Class 1 now. Gallatin versus Brookfield is where we start. I think this is Gallatin's homecoming, if I'm not wrong. I think that they're going to have it spoiled, though. I think Brookfield comes in and wins by 15. Marionville versus Pierce City. Don't think this one's going to be close. Give me Marionville by 31. Salisbury versus Marceline. Slept on the Panthers last week. I'm not going to do it again. Give me Salisbury by 8 points in this game. Van Far hosting Bowling Green. Now, Van Far, they're off to a really good start so far this year, but Bowling Green is just on a different level. I don't even really think that this game's going to be close. Both teams are 5-0, so obviously, like I said, both teams are really good, but I just think that Bowling Green is on another level. If I'm not wrong, they're either 1 or 2 in the media polls right now for Missouri high school football. I think that they win this game by 28. Now, I may be sleeping on Van Far a little bit, so they could prove me wrong, but for now, give me the Bobcats by 28. West Strand versus Scotland County. I'm not sold on West Strand, I have to be honest. I will take Scotland County by 12. And the Class 1 game of the week, it has to be Midway hosting Windsor. Thought about going to this game, just a slight bit. Not fully certain, though. I think there's some games that may end up being a little bit better on Friday. So, keep an eye out for that one, though. That's a big game for Class 1. Class 2 scoreboard, East Buchanan versus Penny is where I want to start here. I don't think this game's going to be close. The rest of them, I didn't go above 23 as the total. But this one, I'm taking East Buchanan by 40. Nevada, they are on the road at Lamar. Lamar has been interesting this year. If you guys recall from my earlier videos, my earlier high school prediction videos, I said Lamar may have been disguised with those first 3 wins by some pretty bad teams that were solid last year, so then they look like good wins. Besides that East Newton game, that was not a good win, and that was a team that was really bad last year. They go out, they lose to Cassville, week 4. Last week, they host Mount Vernon, and they lose. And that one, Mount Vernon's a really good team, but Lamar's just on a slippery slope right now. I don't think they get back on track this week. I'll take Nevada by 10. Ava versus Houston. This should be a pretty good game. I will take Ava by 23, though. I think the scoreboard won't say it all, though. I think it'll be a little bit closer, game-wise, than a 23-point game. But, on the scoreboard, I think it'll show 23. Holden versus Lafayette County is where I want to go next. Holden's a solid team. They are. I think they'll have a good season, wrapping it up. Obviously, we're in week 6, so I can't say that they're going to have a good season. They're having a solid season. They're 3-2 right now. Lafayette County's a different animal. They really are. I'm going to go modest with this pick because I'm not fully certain how it'll go. Give me the Huskers by 7. I definitely could see them winning by a lot, though, but I could also see Holden winning. I don't really think that Holden would win by a lot, but I could see Lafayette County winning by just about any amount. Scott City versus Caruthersville is a really hard game to predict. Both teams sitting at 4-1 right now. they're both looking really solid. Now, when we get to the playoffs, not fully certain if they're going to go too far, but Crothersville coming off a 37-7 loss to Valley Catholic last week, I think they're going to stumble out of the gates in this game. I think the Rams end up winning over Crothersville. I'll take Scott City by 4. In the Class 2 game of the week, it has to be Valley Catholic versus St. John. May not be the closest game out of all the Class 2 games this week, but being that it's the battle for St. John, it's got high implications. Both teams, they're looking for a win. This is a big win either way. St. John is Class 3. They're sitting at 3-2 right now. Valley Catholic, their runner-up in Class 2 last year, sitting at 4-1. I think that one's going to be a really good game. Class 3 scoreboard. Reed Spring versus Forsyth. I took Reed Spring last week and they burnt me, but I will take them again. I'll ride with them in this one. I'll say Wolves by 9. Mount Vernon versus Cassville. Both of these teams have beat Lamar this year. That's what they have in common. I just think that Mount Vernon's a lot better than Cassville is, so give me Mount Vernon by 21. Southern Boone, it's their homecoming, and they're playing Eldon. Now, Eldon's a little bit fraudulent, if you want to say that, if you can even call a 3-2 team fraudulent. I don't think that they even really go above 5 wins. I think they'd be almost lucky to go 5-4. I don't think that they're really that good this year. They started off hot. They were like 3-0, so it was a good start to the season, but it's only down from here. Sorry to be so pessimistic to the Eldon fans, but I think Southern Boone wins this one by 27. Richmond versus Carrollton. This one is going to be a really interesting game. Richmond just lost 70-28 last week against Lafayette County, but I do think that they bounce back at home. I'll take the Spartans by 14 is where I'll set the total at. Blue Valley Southwest. They are hosting Blair Oaks. Blair Oaks is going to Kansas this week. Now, I got to take a moment to watch some Blue Valley Southwest highlights from last week where they played St. Thomas, the number 1 team in Kansas. Now, it's going to sound a little bit contradicting what I'm going to say here, but Blue Valley Southwest looked awful against the number 1 team in Kansas. I mean, the number 1 team in Kansas didn't even look like they really had a good quarterback. I don't know. It's just kind of weird how the dude moved. They had an option offense. I didn't even see one pass in the highlights. Maybe I saw 1 or 2 passes in the highlights. Like it was a triple option, read option, speed option offense for St. Thomas in this game, and Blue Valley Southwest kind of looked awful. They really looked bad. So I think if Blair Oaks can take advantage of an RPO and read option offense, they're gonna blow the Timberwolves out of the water in this game. Even with it being a long drive, I think even if there's a little bit of jet lag there, I think the Falcons come out and win this game by 20. Odessa versus Warrensburg is the Class 3 game of the week. This is gonna be a really fun game. Obviously. This is also the Missouri Sports Talk game of the week. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. I can't give my prediction yet, so stay tuned for that. Class 4 game of the week, Holt versus Warrenton. Sorry, I said game of the week. Class 4 scoreboard is what I meant. Holt versus Warrenton is where I want to start. I think Holt, they won't get this one done, in my opinion. I'll take Warrenton by 13. Fort Zumwalt South versus North Point. Give me North Point by 2 on the road. I like that one. That's going to be a fun game. Carl Junction. They're a little bit better than I expected this year. Still don't think that they're that great. They're 4-1. Expect them to be 4-2. I'll take Seneca by 21. Marshfield hosting Branson. Also don't really think that this game is going to be close. Branson, they're having one of the best seasons that they've had in a very, very long time. I think they end up being 6-0. Give me the Pirates by 28. Kirksville versus Hannibal. Fun fact, Kirksville has not beat Hannibal since Bill Clinton was in office. I want to say it was either 96 or 98. So it's been almost 30 years. We're getting near 30 years. So I think Kirksville's a really good team this year. They're 5-0 right now. I want to say Hannibal is 3-2. Yeah, they are. And it's at Kirksville, but I just don't think that this is the year. I don't think they get it done this year. Maybe, next year or the year after that, they pull off a surprise. But as for now, I have to continue going with Hannibal. I'll say Hannibal by 25. I could definitely see it being a lot closer than that, though. But initial prediction, I'll take Hannibal by 25. And the Class 4 game of the week, Smithville versus Platte County. Platte County is number 2 in the media polls for Class 5. So I want to say Smithville is 3 in Class 4. So this is a really fun game. 2 top 25 schools in Missouri overall. So keep an eye out on that one. Class 5 scoreboard. Let's start with MICDS and Luther North. I really like MICDS this year. I think they're a solid team. I just think that Luther North is better. Give me the Crusaders by 18. Carthage versus Joplin. I feel like Joplin's not that great this year. I know they're kind of hyping themselves up, but I just think that Carthage is obviously a better team than them. Give me the Tigers by 22. Eureka versus Rockwood Summit. I also like Rockwood Summit this year, but not fully certain if they'll even make it out of districts. Very high on Eureka this year, though. I think that they'll end up being 6-0 coming out of this week. Give me the Wildcats by 17. Cape Central versus Jackson. Now, Jackson's kind of having a rough start to the year. They lost to Cardinal Ritter and Edwardsville. I think they lose another game. Cape Central's looking really good. Now, I'm not fully certain how the dynamic is down there in the Jackson, Cape Girardeau area, if Cape Central's kind of treated like little bro down there. I have really no clue if that's even a rivalry, but I do like the Tigers this year. I think they're a really good team. Give me Cape Central by 4 in this game. I think they pull off, if you want to call it an upset over Jackson, I don't know. I feel like the Indians are kind of having a down year. Cap City versus Elias. Now, I've been sleeping on Cap City just a little bit this year, I must say. I have to pick against them for one more week, I think. And then from now on, I don't even think I can choose against them until the district championship game. I think Elias wins this game by 6. It's going to be a really close game. Elias obviously doesn't really have to travel. You know, they're going, 5-6 miles over to Cap City. So, for a road game, not going too far. But, hey, Elias is on upset watch. I must say, I think Cap City could possibly do it if their hearts are really in it. It's going to take a lot, though. And the Class 5 game of the week, I think it has to be Grain Valley hosting Kearney. Obviously, we know what Kearney is. They won state championship in Class 4 last year. I think this is going to be a close game. You may see the road team win this one. So, obviously stay tuned for my prediction on Friday. Class 6 game of the week. I said game of the week again. What is wrong with me? Class 6 scoreboard. Liberty versus Park Hill is where I want to start. I think Liberty's an all right team this year. I really do. I think that they can make some noise. I'll take Liberty by 6. Parkway West versus Lindbergh. Lindbergh obviously hosting. I want to take Lindbergh by 10 in this one. I could see it going either way, though. Blue Springs versus Rockhurst. I think Rockhurst wins on the road in this game. I honestly don't even know what to say about that game. So, now that I'm looking at my... Hold on. Okay, there it is. Sorry. I was looking at my computer. I was looking in the wrong spot for the game. I have it all written down here. I have all my predictions on my computer. For some reason, I couldn't find where I had that prediction. I took Rockhurst by 13. I'm going to stick with that. Oak Park versus Central St. Joseph. I think Oak Park wins this one at home quite easily. I'll take the Northmen by 24. Nixa versus Kickapoo. I will be there tonight. 7 o'clock game. This is Nix's homecoming game. I really don't think this game is going to be close. We're going to see the starters get pulled out after, you may even see them get pulled at halftime. Maybe, first or second drive in the third quarter. I don't know if this one's going to be close, but maybe the JV lets up a few points. Give me Nixa by 37. And the Class 6 game of the week, Blue Springs South is hosting Lee Summit North. Blue Springs South has been a real surprise this year. They're sitting at 4-1 right now. In Lee Summit North, they're 5-0. They just lost their head coach before the season. So it's going to be a really nice game. Big implications for Class 6 on both sides. We're going to see what these teams are really made of in that game. So that's all we've got for today. I need to tell you guys what game I'm going to. I forgot to do that. Our Week 6 Missouri Sports Talk game of the week has to be Odessa versus Warrensburg. Both teams sitting at 4-1. Odessa had a disappointing Week 1 loss to Southern Boone in overtime. I actually got to watch a little bit of that game. And Warrensburg, they just lost this past week to Pleasant Hill. They rattled off 4 straight to start off the year, lost this past week. Odessa kind of on the flip. They lost Week 1, and then they are now on a 4-game win streak. This one is a home game for Odessa, so this is Class 3, also Class 3 game of the week. And then also, I need to tell you guys, tonight I'll be at Nixa and Kickapoo, so stay tuned for that. That's all I've got for today. It's been Missouri Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.